Hands-free technology used to control it, but I want to step back and make sure you guys can see this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the M-Vision-S. It can seamlessly switch between autonomous driving modes and manual driving modes, which we're going to demonstrate shortly. Like I said, it utilizes those camera sensors to perceive its surroundings. It even utilizes lighting technology. This is really cool. So that the people on the inside can communicate their mood to people on the outside, kind of connecting humanity and technology. And it does all this while on autonomous driving mode, so of course we're going to talk about autonomous driving. But in order to do that, I need a little help, so I'm going to bring up my friend Eric. Here, Eric, come on up. That was actually pretty good. You got a decent, who wants a bigger round of applause? All right, we'll try this again. Eric, come on up. Oh, wow, that's great. I think that was your best round of applause yet, the last day of CES. Eric's going to play two roles today. He's going to play the role of our driver and our passenger, and then who knows what else he does beyond that. Sometimes we get him to dance, sometimes he does push-ups. Sometimes he falls asleep in the car. I'm not joking. So, are you ready to do this? Let's rock. All right, you awake? Yes? All right, he's awake. Here we go. I'm joking, but he actually pretends to sleep. You'll see in a moment. So, when he makes his way inside the M-Vision-S, you're going to see the lights turn blue. That's to signify to all of you and to the driver that the car is now in autonomous driving mode. We're going to rotate it so you can all see here. Then it's going to use retinal facial recognition to identify the driver and any passengers, and then it's going to greet him with a nice warm welcome message here. So I'm going to assume that if you guys have made your way over here into the North Hall, that you're at least interested and curious about the future of automobile technology. I'm going to assume even further that whether you're out here and you drive a brand new car, or your car's a few years old, maybe you don't have a car, that you're at least aware of just how much technology has changed. The things we can do in cars nowadays is remarkable. The cars that are actually for sale out there. But with Hyundai Mobis and the M-Vision-S, for the future, we're going to take that to an entirely different level. No longer will cars just be a means of transportation. They're going to be connected to everything. A lot of you have your smartphones out. They'll be connected not just to your phones, but now to your smart home appliances. They're even going to start to be connected with other vehicles on the road. They'll be able to share that information instantly, seamlessly, and to do it all while on autonomous driving. But my job today is to kind of give you an idea of what that's going to look like in the future. So just like most of you, a lot of people have a smartphone. You guys all have a smartphone? Almost everyone does nowadays. Well, so does Eric. So when Eric made his way into the M-Vision-S, once it identified it, it started syncing with his phone. So it started downloading his contacts, his destinations, and his calendar. So what it's done here is it's recognized he's got an appointment today, he's got somewhere to be, and it just said on the GUI, the graphic user interface, it is lunchtime. How about having lunch on the terrace? That's over at the Paris Hotel. Eric, who are you meeting over at the Paris? Are you going to even go? I think I'll just skip it. He's going to skip his lunch meeting. All right, so he's going to select no. It's going to now move to the next thing in his calendar, which is, ooh, Eric's got a big night. He's heading to the Pop Music Awards tonight. So it's recognized that's in his calendar, and it's asking if he wants to head to the Pop Music Awards now. You going to do that? Let's go. All right, so he's on his way to the Pop Music Awards. Here's where it gets fun. So he selected yes. The M-Vision-S is now on its way to the MGM Grand Garden Arena for the Pop Music Awards. I want you to notice the lighting on the inside and the outside is going to change to reflect the mood of the destination. So since he's headed to the Pop Music Awards, it's fun, it's exciting. The communication panel out here is signifying to you guys that he's going somewhere fun. Looks like the lights you'd see at an award show. Over here on the inside, you're going to notice the lighting on the inside also changes to reflect the mood of the destination. It even went so far as to pick a song that also fits the mood. So since he's going to the Pop Music Awards, it's put on a pop music song. Now on the screen, you're going to notice the detailed map and the best route is on there. It's going to start scanning traffic, constantly finding the best route. It's even starting to look for parking spaces at the MGM. Do you guys look closely on here? It's identified. There's an available parking space right up front that may change by the time we get there. I'll tell you more about parking. But if you guys can see the screen, you see that right there? Do you know what hotel that is? It's the MGM, right? I want you to look at the top. See that highlighted part? It's pulled up on the screen a 3D rendering of the MGM's Grand Garden Arena, and it's highlighted so he knows exactly where to go once he arrives. We've even gone a step further. It's found his tickets to the award show in his phone, and it's pulled him up on the screen, so he knows exactly where he's sitting when he gets there. He doesn't have to pull out his phone, doesn't have to do anything. In fact, tonight he's sitting in section 8, row A, seats 5 and 6 at the Pop Music Awards. Pretty cool. So now, while he's on his way to the MGM, I want to tell you a little bit about e-quarter technology. If you don't know about this, it's fascinating. The e-core module comprises in-wheel motors, electric brakes, electric power steering, and electric damper control. All of that technology in a package that we can put inside of each wheel individually. What that means is there's no longer a need for any sort of traditional chassis or even a central engine in the car. Because you can put that in wheels individually, you get creativity in design, which is how you have this much space inside of the M-Vision-S. Also, safety features are going to pop up while it's in autonomous driving mode. The M-Vision-S is going to utilize camera sensors, radar, LiDAR to continuously perceive its surroundings, like pedestrians, like I was mentioning. Also, other vehicles maintaining constant speed and spatial awareness. You're even going to notice when it moves left or right, you're going to notice progressive lighting here on the rear tail lamps. But here's the deal. Eric, are you awake in there? Just make sure you're with us. All right, help us out with something. I want to go ahead and change the music. See, he's an autonomous driver. He can do whatever he wants in there. But let's do this. I want to show these people V-Touch technology. So let's go ahead and change the music here. I'll let you pick whatever you want. Let's see what kind of mood he's in. He's heading to the pop music awards. Oh, he's in a romantic mood. He's picked a romantic song. A little Mackenzie Chelsea. All right, how about this? Can you go ahead and turn the music up for us, Eric? So this is, again, the V-Touch technology, completely hands-free. By the way, if you hear that sound coming from the vehicle, I want to give a shout-out to our friends at Krell for providing this amazing auditory experience. You look over here, that's the Krell Sound Lounge, if you want to learn more about Krell. But the really neat thing about this car is, in the future, there's two kinds of people. You're either someone who wants autonomous driving, you want freedom, you want to take your hands off the wheel, or you want manual driving. In the future, you can kind of choose. Here's the deal. Uh-oh, we got a notification. It says, we'll be late if we keep going with this speed. Do you want to change the drive mode? Okay, so the car is now recognized. We're going to be late to the Pop Music Awards if we stay on autonomous driving mode. So it's actually asked him if he wants to change the drive mode. Eric, do you want to be late? No? You don't want to be late? What are you going to do? He's going to drive. All right, here we go. So he's now changing the drive mode. I want you to notice first and foremost, the lighting is going to change from blue to yellow. He wants to make it on time. He's going to switch to manual driving mode and drive himself the rest of the way to the MGM. Three things are going to happen. One, that driver's seat slides back into position. Next, you're going to see the cockpit. It's going to raise to the level of the driver. And then third, you're going to notice the steering controls are going to slide out right in front of him. So it essentially creates a cockpit. Now, if you watch what he did there, he used his eyes and the retinal facial recognition by scanning his eyes to the left and the right and syncing his eyes. Now watch, all he has to do is glance left or right just like that, and it pulls up his side view mirror information. So you can see what's going on. Also, it reduces the information on the GUI so he can focus on driving. So now we've arrived at the MGM. We've shown you autonomous driving. We've shown you the outside of the car. We've shown you the inside of the car. We just showed you manual driving. The last thing I want to show you, I mentioned this earlier, is parking. It's my favorite part. But for this, we don't need Eric, so you're off to the Pop Music Awards. I'm going to put you on the spot. You drove there by yourself. I got to assume you're taking somebody. Who are you taking to the Pop Music Awards? Someone here, someone we don't know about. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? Vegas stays. All right, I won't ask you guys. Give a round of applause for Eric. Well done, my friend. Have fun at the Pop Music Awards. So now that we've arrived at the MGM, you're going to watch the lighting switch from yellow back to blue. The M-Vision-S essentially now turns itself into its very own valet service. He doesn't have to give the keys to anybody. He just gets out and walks inside. And now it's going to start scanning the parking lot around the destination for available parking spaces, just like it's doing here on the screen. And it's going to find a parking space that works. It's going to change the communication panel here to signify to everyone in the parking lot that the M-Vision-S is in autonomous driving mode, that it's parking itself. It's going to scan, find its available parking spot, find whatever it wants, and then watch it. It's going to back in, pull in safely, and because it has wireless charging, the M-Vision-S is going to start to charge itself, and then when Eric comes back out, all he has to do is look at the communication panel here. As soon as it's parked, it's going to switch to charging mode, and when he comes back, he'll know exactly the charging level of the M-Vision-S. Maybe it's not charged, he heads back inside, maybe it's fully charged, he goes back inside and gambles a little bit. You can do whatever you want. That's the freedom of autonomous driving with a car that has this much smart technology. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our presentation here on the M-Vision-S. Here's the deal. We want you to experience some of this technology for yourself. You have two ways to do that. Right over here, the Future Mobility DIY station, that's Yvonne and Lilia.